So in this video, we're going to talk about why you can't help but act weird and dumb around people who you like. For whatever reason, whenever you're around this person, your brain just starts lagging, moving slower. You start feeling this pressure to get everything right, and you don't feel like this around other people. You have to think a little bit harder about what to say. The words aren't coming to you. And when you do talk, everything feels just a little bit forced and unnatural. And I can't stress this enough, because this is what happens to me, and I'm hoping I'm not the only person who does this. When I have this nervous energy inside of me, I start to make little mistakes, just these weird mistakes that I wouldn't usually make. Like, I remember not too long ago, I was talking to this girl. I approached this girl in the train station, and it's going pretty well. I'm a little bit nervous, but it's going well. And then just out of nowhere, I just drop my phone. I drop my phone, and then I spend like the next 10 seconds trying to pick it up. Seems like it's something which should be really simple, but I'm getting all nervous and flustered and a little bit embarrassed. And I kind of fucked up the whole approach. Or another good example is this is a bit different. I was in the office, I was in the cafeteria at work, and I'm making my coffee as normal. I've done this 1,000 times in a row. And I start to notice a bunch of people gathering up behind me, 4 or 5 people. And then again, I'm just overcome by this nervous energy, and I'm speeding up to make the coffee. I end up spilling it everywhere, all over the counter, just creating this kind of embarrassing situation for myself. A simple task just becomes really hard for no reason. So we're going to talk about why this is. The reason you act weird and dumb around people who you like or people who you want to impress is because you're in survival mode rather than play mode. So let's talk about survival mode. I'm not talking Minecraft here. I'm talking about survival mode, which is where you feel unsafe in your environment for whatever reason. Your nervous system is detecting some kind of threat to your safety, some kind of danger in your immediate surroundings, and that's putting you in survival mode. It's putting you in fight or flight. So the reason this always happens around people who we're trying to impress, or people, whose opinion we care about a little bit, and contrary to what people will tell you, for me it's normal to somewhat care about what people think of you. It's normal to have a little bit of nerves talking to a girl or giving a presentation. But often, when we want people to like us, when we're trying to impress people, what we've got to understand is it's less about making them like us and more about avoiding pain. Most times when we feel nervous, when we have this nervous energy in these situations, we're not actually reacting to what's happening in front of us. We're reacting to some kind of fear of the past. Something which happened to us in the past, like a similar situation, maybe one that we can't even consciously remember, but something similar in which we experienced great emotional pain. Think back to the time when you were in school, when you were in class, you made a mistake, maybe you put your hand up, you got the question wrong, the entire fucking class laughed at you. This used to happen to me all the time. Public embarrassment, public humiliation. Those are the kind of experiences that cause your nervous system to become hyperactive. Because it felt so bad back then, it wants to protect you at all costs from feeling that kind of pain, this potential humiliation, rejection, embarrassment. So any kind of situation that vaguely reminds your nervous system of that, it will put you in fight or flight mode, survival mode, as a way of protecting you. So what we've got to understand is when we're in survival mode, your body does not care about how you're coming across. It does not care about you being charming or confident or funny or any of these things that make a good conversationalist. If I'm talking to a girl in fight or flight mode, that is actually the time when I am most likely to mess up or make a mistake or do something dumb. Because when you're in survival mode, all your body is trying to get you to do is get the fuck out of there. Either we're going to run or we're going to fight. Most times our body wants to run. So my body's being flooded with anxiety, with nervous tension as a way of protecting me. Often if I'm not going to run, and what your body will do is start making you feel very stiff. Your body gets like very stiff. You start like feeling like you've got to control your movements and stuff. Maybe that's why we like drop things, or we can't do simple tasks that require steady hands. I often think, like, I don't know if this is true, but my interpretation of that is, say you know you're about to get punched, or say you know like you're in danger or something like that. What do you do before you get like punched? Like if you train boxing, what would you do when you're about to get punched in the abdomen? You tense your body. You almost like brace for impact to protect you from this pain that you're anticipating. So when talking to a girl, maybe based on some experience that's happened to me in the past, like I've been rejected before, my body is predicting the possibility of rejection. So it's tensing up and trying to protect me. So yeah, that is why we become like really mistake prone, really socially clumsy. It's because our body is rerouting everything away from our brain that isn't essential to survival. All of the things that make you charming and confident in conversations, it's ditching. And that all comes down to not feeling safe in your environment. So the way we can regain that sense of safety that not many people know about, I don't see people talking about this on YouTube, is to enter what I like to call play mode. So we've got to think of play mode as the opposite of survival mode. I called it play mode. I'm not claiming to have invented this because I feel like it exists, just maybe under a different name. But play mode, I saw this example of in the animal kingdom. Animals only feel comfortable playing and just kind of relaxing and letting go when they know they're not in any danger, when they know they're not at risk of being hunted. Sometimes that is just a psychological thing. Sometimes there might be danger, there might be some like predator in their environment, but they don't know about it. But they feel like they can be safe and relaxed. They're not convinced there's any danger there. So play mode is essentially feeling relaxed and safe enough in your environment to let your natural personality and charisma come out. A lot of people seem to think they're just awkward. I'm just an awkward person. 9 times out of 10, you're just in survival mode. You're just not feeling safe enough to let who you really are come out. Around your friends, around people who you trust, you're probably like quite loud, quite expressive. This is how I am. When I'm with my friends, I'm very unfiltered. I make lots of jokes, things that I don't do around people who I've just met for the first time because I don't have that feeling of safety yet. But that doesn't mean that you're just an awkward person. Like, I like to think everyone has natural personality and charisma. It's just about feeling safe enough to bring that out. So it's things like the ability to speak without the need to rehearse or without it feeling forced, or, you can joke around freely and almost like forget about yourself. Not feel self-conscious, not self-monitor or be like aware of your mistakes. Ultimately, yeah, that's what it comes down to. It's like, I can make a mistake here because I'm safe. Like, there's nothing bad is going to happen if I do make a mistake. And ultimately, that's true. Like, no matter what your body believes, like, I'm in danger. Unless you're in physical danger, I really don't, like, thinking logically, there's no one in your life that should be making you like feel like you can't express yourself. There's no one who you should really feel like you can't like express who you really are, be yourself around. Like, there's no one worth filtering your personality that much for. And what I find is oftentimes when we get into play mode, and I'll talk about how we can do that, because we're more focused on our own fun than maybe the fun of everyone else. Like, sometimes we are prioritizing other people above ourselves. Like we want them to be having a good time, but we don't want them to be bored talking to us. That can actually come across as like a little bit needy. But when we focus on our own fun and our own enjoyment, when we're in play mode, that is when we create like a more fun vibe and they end up enjoying themselves as well. So in terms of how to enter play mode, the most effective way I've found is in a situation where you're feeling a little bit nervous or socially clumsy, is to try and focus on one thing, one little thing about this situation you're in that you find funny or interesting or entertaining. Start looking at the world through this lens of like, how can I enjoy myself more? The world is here for my entertainment. I'm not here to appease anyone or impress anyone. I have nothing to accomplish here other than having a good time for myself. It's almost like this allows us to take everything less seriously. This conversation stops being so life or death, and it's more like, I'm just here to have a good time, relax, enjoy myself. If anything, these people should be trying to impress me. It sounds like a little bit arrogant, but like that's sometimes how I look at it. Like, do I like these people? Do they impress me? Like, if nothing else, I'm just gonna have a good time. I'm gonna point out the things that I find funny. I'm gonna laugh to myself regardless of whether other people are laughing with me. And just reminding myself that, yeah, like I said before, there's no one in this world who should be stopping me from feeling unsure of myself. Like on a level, even any of the girls I talk to, like when I approach a girl in the bar, sounds very backwards, but sometimes I like visualize in my head them doing something gross. Like we put people on a pedestal and we think they're not human. Like with girls especially, apologies if there's any girls watching this, but like girls shit, fart, do all kinds of gross stuff. But we kind of like build them up in our head. If when you're a guy, we build them up in our head and we think of them as like, oh, they're like perfect beings. Like they're gonna judge me. Bro, if they judge me, they're just as human as me. Like everyone has their flaws. So yeah, you get the picture of what I'm trying to say. Try to enter play mode as a way of getting yourself out of survival mode. Remember that you're reacting to old fear most of the time, which isn't there anymore, as a way of trying to predict the future. When really what we should be thinking about is how can we have more fun? How can we try and impress ourselves, entertain ourselves? And in that way, we create a more fun, enjoyable vibe for the other person too. Take care. Have a good one.